Ram. Welcome to Sri Sathya Sai Loka Seva Gurukulam. Today we are going to continue with the part 2 on the origin and evolution of life and introduction to classification. As usual, we will start with the answers for the previous home assignment. The first question asked was, what are the probable stage in the origin of life? Explain in detail. This may be coming in as a 5-mark question. So, you can able to see the way how the question is framed, right? So, it is an elaborate answer we are going to see for this question. Chemosynthetic theory on origin of life on earth is in 4 stages. As we have already studied, it is having stage 1, 2, 3 and 4. And each stage it is having various things which is listed. We will see in stage 1 the simple organic compound formation using lightning and UV radiation or the heat as a source of energy. That was in the first stage. In the second stage, the simple organic molecule combine to form a larger organic molecule like peptide, sugar, starch and fat molecule. As the stage progresses to stage 3, a large molecules of different kinds combine to form a very complex structure which is known as coacervate drops. This coacervate drops will have the nucleus, right? We will see that in the later stages. In stage 4, the nucleoprotein or the nucleic acid evolved by random combination. They are capable of doing reaction and reproduction, that is able to create the similar kind of characters what it is having, that is known as reproduction. Then we will go to question number 2. Question number 2 is, what is coacervate drops? This we have already seen in the previous question, but it is like a 2-mark question. That some simple fat molecule arrange themselves around a molecular complex in a sort of a membrane. We can able to see a circular droplet which is forming in oil, right? Similar to that, these coacervative drops have formed. Question number 3 is, what was proved by Stanley Miller and Harold Urey? This is the experiment we have to expected to explain. Here, Stanley Miller and Harold Urey, they provided chemosynthetic theory of evolution. In that, they told the origin of life is possible from mimicking the earlier and primitive earth condition. So, they did it in a glassware in the lab condition where they could able to get at the end the organic molecule have formed. This is what they proved. They proved the chemosynthetic theory of evolution. Hope you have understand all those things. Now, we will go to the learning objective of today's class. Today we are going to study organic evolution. In that we will see the definition for organic evolution. We will see the evidences, various evidences, morphological evidence, embryological evidence, paleontological evidence and molecular evidence. We will see one by one. First we will see what is organic evolution. The definition for organic evolution is as follows. Definition you have to reproduce in the answer paper. The formation of complex organism through a gradual change from simple ancestral type over a course of geological time. From that sentence, what you can able to understand, as time passes, the organism gradually accumulating few changes and gradually it is shedding whatever changes it does not need, right? So, slowly the organism will develop into a more and more complex organism to adapt to that particular environment. It is a very gradual change and also thereby we can able to see the organism adapt to the environment. The theory of organic evolution is as follows. Present day, the organism whatever we are seeing in the world which evolved through a gradual change which had happened in their body, right? We can able to see some of the ancestral character which was present in the previous organisms also. What is this ancestral characters? Ancestral characters are the organism which evolved very before, right? During the initial stages of the development, whatever organism we can able to see, those organisms, whatever changes they are having, that also we can able to see in our body. The characteristic feature in the organism is keep changing. We cannot be the same people, right? We are changing our mentality. Like that, our organs and also the system which is present inside our bodies also keep changing. Gradually it adapts to the environment. Because the environment is changing, the organism is also tend to change gradually. We can see that air pollution happened, and then because of the noise pollution, or because we are studying so much, we are in 11th standard, right? So we have to spend more time. So gradually you can see that you are changing your lifestyle, right? Because you have to study more, you are reducing your sleep time. So gradually we are adapting to that environment. By gradually we are changing our habit. So we will see further what are the different kind of change which will happen in the organism. They will survive in the environment. If the organism which is not capable of changing according to the environmental condition will go extinct. So we cannot expect all the organism to evolve and adapt to the changing environment. So several organisms will go as an extinct. It will vanish from the environment as dinosaur is not present in the environment, right? The origin of species is gradual and it is extremely a very slow process. We cannot see now the monkey is changing into human, right? Because it is a gradual process and also very slow process. But when you are talking about all the changes which is happening in the organisms are very slow, it is also not true. Few of the changes are very rapid. We can able to see in few generations the organisms are changing. Say for an example, the mosquitoes and all, it is getting very much coming and biting us, right? Before, when the DDT was invented, that time they were spraying DDT in the field. So the entire mosquito was vanished from the environment, like everybody was happy. Similar to that, the pesticide when they are applying to the field, initially when green revolution taking place, all the different kind of pests from the environment was eliminated. Then they got so much of profit and we got self-satisfaction with our agricultural product, right? But the same pesticide, if you use it in today's condition in the lab, in the field, you cannot see the flies will die. The pest and everything will not even respond to that. Because of the environmental condition, the pesticide which we have applied in a so much enormous amount, now the flies won't even respond to that, right? The flies are keep growing in a field condition, we cannot able to use the same pesticide, right? So some of the evolution is very rapid. Over a short period of time, we can see some of the pesticide resistant mosquitoes which is started forming in the environment. So hope you can able to understand how the evolution is taking place. All the organisms wanted to survive, right? We are talking about human and how the development is very slow and the process of organic evolution is very slow, because human life is expectancy is now 100 years, right? We can able to see the generation time is increased to 25 years. In 25 years, we will get the babies, right? So the generation time, based on that also we can see in the mosquito, the generation time is very, very short, right? If you consider a bacteria like E. coli, the generation time is just only 20 minutes. So you can see millions of generation when you are growing the same microorganism for 10 years in your lab. But it is not possible like we can see a million generation in human being. So the evolution which is happening to the organism is based on the life cycle of the organism, how short or how long it is. The process of organic evolution is ever changing, that we have already seen, right? All living things on the earth here results in a recent modification, and these modifications are coming from a common ancestor. It is given in a quote in your book, so it is given by a scientist maybe, it is not written, but you can see that it is given in a quote, means you should not change even the phrase which is present. So the evidence of organic evolution when you are talking about, we can see in morphology, in embryology, paleontology and molecular evidence. One by one we will see what are all these things all are about. First we will see morphological evidence. What is morphology? The outside external characters what you can able to see the organisms are having is known as morphology. So from the outside character we can able to see the difference, then it is a morphological evidence. A comparative study of various organs which is present in different kind of organism we have to take, and then we have to find what is the common feature which is present. Here the example is given as heart in the vertebrate. The heart is the organ which pumps the blood, right, throughout our body. When we are considering that, we can able to see how the organisms have evolved. Here, when the morphological evidence is considered, it is further divided into homologous and analogous organ. We will see what is homologous organ, analogous organ in upcoming slides. Then we have some of the organ which is known as vestigial organ, and some of the organs we can able to see we have a connecting link between them. First we have studied about the heart in different vertebrate, right? How the heart have originated. When we are in the embryonic stage, we can able to see the similar kind of architecture will start, and it will keep gradually accumulating the changes, and it will become more complex. Here the different examples were given in fish, that is biologically the group is known as fishes, then amphibian, reptiles and mammals. This is according to the classification we are getting the different example here. The fish is having only two chambered heart. You can able to see one ventricle and one auricle which is present in the organism. When you are considering an amphibian, it is having the left auricle and also a right auricle, and it is having only one ventricle which is present. Three chambered heart we can able to see in the amphibia. A similar three chamber heart with a partial septum which started forming in the ventricle region where right and left ventricle is getting separated. Can you able to see that gradually how the organism's heart has become complex? When we are coming to mammals, we can able to see a four chambered heart where we have two auricle and two ventricle which is present, both left side and right side, and there is the septum which formed is also complete. If the septum is having some defect, that is known as congenital heart disease, right? So the septum completely it has to present in the mammal. This much clarity only we can able to get in the picture. Please refer to your textbook. There also the similar picture we have taken, and the clarity was little lesser here. Then we will see what is a homologous organ. The homologous organ is the organ which is present in all the organisms, but it is doing different function. Okay, for that we are taking an example like the forearm of a human being. Can you able to see the forearm of the human being? We can able to see a hand-like structure. What is the function of a hand? Using that we can grab the things, and then we can do so much of work, right? And then because of that the human is having a different set of radio ulna, that is two bones which is present. So they combine together, they are putting it as radio ulna. Then we have carpels, metacarpals and phalanges. These are the bones which is present in the forearm. That when you are considering in a horse, the same kind of bones are present, but in the horse, what is the function of the forearm? It is helping the horse in walking and also running, right? So the total functioning of a human hand is different from that of the horse forearm, correct? So similar to that, if you will check in the cat, more or less same function in the horse and cat. But when you are considering a whale, whale is also a mammal, right? We can able to see the same kind of architecture, which the compression of some of the bones which is taking place, and it is used for the swimming purpose, correct? Similar to that, in the birds also the same kind of bones are present. Here it is used for the flying purpose. So each and every organ whatever here we have considered, they are having a same ancestry. That is the forearm of the vertebrate organism, where it functions totally a different way how the organism needed. So these are the similar, these organs are similar in structure in origin, but they look totally different. They will perform a different set of function. Hope you will understand this. Then we will go to here the example what we have is the forearm of the vertebrate, And in analogous organ, they are functionally similar but originated differently. How it is possible? Here we have the list of the wings which is present in different organisms. All the wings are involving in flight, correct? So here we have an insect wing, then we have a pterodactyl, that is the flying dinosaur. You must have seen in some of the movies, things like that. And then we have a bat and a bird. So all these things are in the process of flying, right? So they are involving in the flight of the organism, but the origin and development, when you are checking, it is totally different. Insects are belonging to invertebrate group, whereas pterodactyl in the reptile and bat is in mammal and birds are in the apes group. So different groups of organism we have considered, but they have evolved certain features which is needed for their survival, but the origin is totally different, but it is doing the same function, that is flight. Then what is this vestigial organ? If we will see some of the organ inside our body, merely we won't find any functionality of that organ. We cannot able to predict that why it is present. But when you will consider the ancestor, our forefathers, and from where we have originated, when you will see there, these organs may have some function. Because of these organs are still present in us, we can see that vestigial organ is also one of the evidence that we have originated from the monkeys. How it is possible? Because in the apes and monkeys it may have some function, but in human it may not have certain function. One such example is appendix. Appendix is a small worm-like projection which is present in the intersection of small intestine and a large intestine. Actually, it is a vestigial organ. It won't have any function, but accidentally when you are swallowing some of the sands and stones along with our food, it will get accumulated in that area and then we'll get appendicitis, right? So actually the organ is having no function, but it may cause some of the disease. So these are some of the vestigial organ what we are having. Apart from that, we have some more vestigial organ, that is body hair. In male we can able to see the body is covered with little hair in the chest and hand region and all. But in apes, it was having a function that it has to protect the body, right? They will be living in an open environment. They are arboreal form, right? They will be living in the open environment where it need some protection. And wisdom tooth will come now when we are in 22, 23 years old. It will come and it will cause so much of pain. This is the last tooth which is going to come in our mouth. But actually the function of the wisdom tooth, we don't have any function because it is the last tooth which we don't have any function. Then the tail vertebrae, even we don't have a tail, we do have a vertebrae which continue in the tail region. When we are in the embryonic stage, actually we do have a tail, but as we are becoming a fetus and developing embryo, it will lose the tail vertebrae. So these are some of the examples for the vestigial organ. So the vestigial organ will have a complex function in the ancestor, but it is not having any kind of functionality in the organism, that is in human. So it explains that these organ we have originated from our ancestor where it had certain function. Now we will see what is connecting link. Connecting link is also one of the important character we have listed, right? Here some of the organism which possess some character which shows there is a connection between two different groups of organism. Here the example given is Archaeopteryx. This is a fossil bird. This bird is having few characteristic feature of a bird and a few characteristic feature of a reptile. It was having a beak, but it is having a tooth like a reptile inside the beak. And it was having a feather covered all over the body, and it had a wing also. At the end of the wing we can see the fingers which is present, which was having nail also it is present. So it is showing both the reptile character and also the aves character together. So this organism may be a connecting link between the reptiles and the aves. So these are some of the evidences we can able to get that shows like the organisms may had a connecting link. Because of the environmental change and incapable of adaptation, these connecting link organisms have vanished from the environment. So with that, we are coming to the end of this session. We have a few questions listed as home assignment for you. The first one is differentiate homologous and analogous organism. Since it is a differentiation question, you are expected to write it in a tabular column. The next question is, what are morphological evidence of evolution and explain. Third question, write a short note on Archaeopteryx. Hope you understand this subject properly and finish all the home assignment and watch our next video. Thank you for watching the video. Om Sri Sai Ram.